The sharp autumn wind cut through the streets of New York, carrying the familiar mix of car horns, distant sirens, and hurried footsteps. It was the kind of day where people moved fast, heads down, lost in their own world. Then a shout broke through the noise. "Let go of me!" The raw panic in the voice made Barron Trump slow his steps. Ahead, just outside a grocery store, a small crowd had gathered. The usual city rhythm, people rushing to meetings, taxis honking, seemed to hesitate for a moment. In the middle of it all, a security guard had a tight grip on the arm of a teenage boy, no older than 15. His hoodie was stained, jeans torn at the knees, sneakers barely holding together. But Barron didn't notice those details first. He noticed the fear. The boy clutched a granola bar in his shaking hands. His knuckles were white from gripping it so hard. "I wasn't stealing," the boy pleaded, voice strained. I didn't have enough money," the security guard scoffed. "That's called theft, kid," some onlookers whispered. Others just stared, detached, indifferent. Barron's steps slowed even more. His gut twisted. He had spent his entire life being judged by people who didn't know him, by strangers who assumed things about him before he even spoke a word. And now, this kid was being judged too. Before we continue, let me ask you, if you saw someone in need, would you stop to help? Tell us in the comments, and if you believe in kindness, subscribe now, because tomorrow we have another powerful story, just for you. The boy struggled, eyes darting between the guard and the crowd. His breath was coming faster now, like he was trapped. "Please," he whispered. "I was just hungry." Barron exhaled slowly. Then he stepped forward. "Hey!" The guard looked up, startled. The boy turned, eyes widening. The small crowd grew even quieter. Barron took another step. His voice was deep, steady. "Let's talk about this for a second." And just like that, everything changed. The small crowd remained frozen, their eyes darting between Barron Trump and the security guard. A few whispered, others held up their phones. The guard tightened his grip on the boy's arm. "This isn't your concern, sir." Barron's voice was calm but firm. "You're accusing a kid of theft over a granola bar. Maybe we should hear him out?" The boy, still tense, looked up at Barron, uncertain whether to trust him or brace for more humiliation. The security guard sighed. "Rules are rules. If we let him go, what stops others from doing the same?" Barron's jaw clenched. He had heard that excuse before. His whole life, people judged him before they even knew him. They assumed he had everything handed to him, never bothering to see the person beyond his last name. And now, here was this boy, being treated like a criminal over a few cents. Barron crossed his arms. Did he actually leave the store without paying? The guard hesitated. No, but... So, technically, no crime was committed, Barron interrupted. Instead of asking why he's struggling, you're treating him like a thief? The murmur in the crowd grew louder. The boy swallowed hard. "I wasn't trying to steal," he mumbled. "I had some money. But when I got to the register, I was short. I was gonna put it back, but..." He trailed off, eyes on the ground. Barron exhaled slowly. This wasn't about a granola bar. This was survival. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a crisp $20 bill. He held it out. "Here, cover the bar and whatever else you need." The guard hesitated. "That's not how this works." "It is now." The boy's hands trembled as he took the bill. For the first time that night, he didn't feel invisible. Tension in the air shifted. But Barron knew this wasn't over yet. The boy's fingers gripped the $20 bill as if it might disappear. His breath hitched, his lips parted slightly, but no words came out. He had spent so long being ignored, looked down upon, dismissed. Now, someone, not just anyone, but Barron Trump had stopped for him. The security guard exhaled sharply. "Look, sir, you don't have to get involved. This isn't a charity." "I know," Barron said, slipping his wallet back into his pocket. "But treating people with dignity doesn't cost a thing." A murmur spread through the crowd. Some people nodded in agreement. Others stayed silent, watching the moment unfold. The boy finally found his voice. "Why are you helping me?" Barron met his gaze. "Because I know what it's like to be judged before people know your story." The boy blinked. "You? But you're—" He gestured vaguely, as if struggling to put it into words. "You're— you." Barron's lips curled into a half-smile. "And you're you. That's all that matters." The guard shifted uncomfortably. He had started this encounter thinking it would be a routine security issue. Now, he was standing in the middle of a moment that felt much bigger than a grocery store policy. Barron turned back to the boy. "What's your name?" The boy hesitated, then finally answered, "Ethan." Barron nodded. "Well, Ethan, let's make sure you get something real to eat." Ethan's eyes widened. "You mean—" "Come on." Barron gestured toward the small diner across the street. "I'm not letting you walk away with just a granola bar." Ethan hesitated, glancing at the guard, then at the crowd. Then, slowly, he stepped away from the store entrance and followed Barron. The city's chaos carried on around them, but for the first time in a long time, Ethan didn't feel alone. The warm scent of grilled food and fresh coffee filled the air as Barron and Ethan stepped into the small diner. Inside, a few late-night customers sat in vinyl booths, lost in their own conversations. Barron led Ethan to a booth near the window. The boy hesitated before sliding in, his posture tense. A waitress approached, notepad in hand. "What can I get you to?" Ethan glanced at Barron, hesitant. "Whatever you want," Barron assured. "Just a burger, and maybe some fries," Ethan murmured. Barron nodded. "Same for me, and 2 hot chocolates." As the waitress walked away, Ethan traced a crack on the table. This didn't feel real. "You don't have to do this," he said quietly. "I know," Barron replied. A silence stretched between them. Not awkward, just understanding. Ethan let out a slow breath. "It's not just about the food, is it?" Barron shook his head. "Nope." Ethan hesitated. "I don't really have anywhere to go." Barron pulled a small black card from his pocket and slid it across the table. "This is a number for someone who can help. No shelters, no handouts, just real help." Ethan stared at the card. Trusting wasn't easy, but something about this moment felt different. He picked it up. The waitress returned, setting their food down. Ethan's stomach growled, but he hesitated. Not from doubt, but from something he hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. For the first time in years, he had it. If you enjoy stories like this, subscribe to the channel, because tomorrow we have another special story for you.